Hi, welcome back to part 2 of our Triumph Bonneville street tracker build. As you can see, we've done quite a bit since the last one 4 days ago. We've stripped off a lot of the parts that we don't need on the bike, and I've spent maybe a day or two just standing back and looking at the bike. This is why it's on the floor and not on the workbench, because you can't get a good idea of the perspective when it's up in the air. It needs to sit right on the ground to get the attitude right. One thing that I saw on the bike that didn't look quite right, it took me quite a while to figure out what it was, is the angle of the bottom of the tank in relation to the ground and the rest of the bike and the seat rail. What it gives is the bike, when you put a flat seat on it, it looks like it's got a broken back because the seat and tank are sloping down towards the backbone of the bike. Now, the simple answer to it we found is raise the tank 12 millimeters. Now you can see the bottom of the angle of the tank is in line with the baseline to the floor. It hasn't got this sloped back look, which fine if you've got a Harley or a custom, but you want to get the proportions just right. Here's a closer look of what I'm talking about with the frame. A very, very small difference in height here, combined with where the seat sits on the frame, will give us a continuous line through the bike here and not have the broken back look that the early Bonnevilles had. Again, ride height is very important with the way the bike looks, so we need to have it sitting on the floor fairly flat to get a good look at how the bike's going to sit on the road. We don't want the bike to have a bad angle from anywhere you look at it, so that attitude is very important. So we fitted the bars that we're going to fit on the bike to get the look right at the front. We fitted a pair of fat alloy bars, save a bit of weight, give it the competition look. We've also chopped the back end of the frame off and put this temporary loop in to get an idea where the proportions of the bike are going to be. Also to get an idea where the tail light and number plate are going to come, because we want them nice and high up off the wheel to get that flat track look. As you can see, we've already done a little bit of frame chopping. We've chopped probably about 8 inches off the back of the frame here and put a temporary loop in just to get an idea of where the seat and everything's going to fit. A good friend of mine down at Saddlecraft in Jarrow, who makes seats, is making me up a Triumph Bonneville seat base out of fiberglass, which we're going to chop and blend into a seat hump at the back to get the lines right, and then we'll make a mould off that and get it recovered to get the angles absolutely spot on where we need it. Side panels, commercial time again. I've put a set of our shorty side panels on, which should cover all the fuel pump and everything we're going to make in here. We're going to need to fabricate a new battery box which will have mounting points for all of the relays, fuel injection, ECU, fuel pump regulator, all that sort of thing to keep it out of sight. If we are a bit stuck for space, we may mount 1 or 2 items in the tailpiece just to stop the bike being too cluttered. Getting the attitude of the bike right is very important. So to that end, we've put a temporary short stand on the bike to just support the bike so it's upright. There's actually no weight on the stand at the moment, it's actually sitting on its suspension there. Quick commercial break here. On the rear, to help setting up, we've put a set of our TEC adjustable gas shocks on the back. Now the beauty of these is they adjust for length. So you've got a wide range of adjustment on length, so you can trim the bike to exactly where you want it. Very handy that when you're setting a custom up. Now on the front suspension, we're running Thruxton length forks because we want the bike dropped a little bit. We're also running a Thruxton wheel. Now again, your wheel and tyre relationships are very important on a custom bike. We're going to be running a more aggressive tread size, but these are the actual tyre sizes we're going to run that's on the bike at the moment. We're running a 150 on the back and a 110 on the front. We're going to use Heidenau K60 Scout tyres because they've got a lovely aggressive tread and they'll look that bit track. The front brake is a Thruxton front brake, which gives you a little bit more braking power. Now the front calipers on these are barely adequate to say the least, so we will be doing a brake upgrade on it. We normally fit a 6-pot caliper on. They're quite expensive, but believe me, they're handy when you want to stop quickly. Another cheaper way of upgrading the brakes on these Bonnevilles is to use a Honda 3-piston Nissan caliper. They were fitted to quite a few of the later models, and you normally pick them up for about £100 second hand, and it is a good economy way of upgrading the brakes because the pad area is much bigger. To give the bike an old school Triumph Bonneville look and to clean the front end up, we're going to be delugging all these front tubes here and getting all these bits of bracketry off them. We're also going to run the oil cooler pipes that originally ran the cooler here, which we'll not be running to keep the front end clean. We're going to run them into these top tubes here and run the oil down through them and then back into the bottom of the motor. We've done this many times before and we've found it cools the motors no problem at all. Looks super neat and gets rid of this radiator look, which doesn't look quite right on an air-cooled bike. Right, now we've got the bike up on the stand, life gets a bit easier for working on it. One of the first jobs we need to do now is get the back wheel and the swing arm out so we can do a bit of surgery around here. I'm going to remove these hangers and also put a modified bracket in here for the rear brake master cylinder because the angle's changed on that now. We also need to weld in a few little brackets to hang the battery box and bracketry off for the EFI unit. We're going to be running a different sort of chain guard on it, sprocket cover, sorry, and we'll also make a very small chain guard here just to stop your trouser leg getting wrapped up in the chain. We've put a set of our commercial brake time again, or tech adjustable rear, universal rear sets on it, and obviously we'll make this up to the remounted master cylinder. We're going to do a few mods on the swing arm just to make it look a little bit different, a bit more trick. We're probably going to put a few holes through it and weld a few bits of tubing into it. And that's about it for the rear end once we've put welded the seat loop in. So that just about winds it up for this instalment. Next time we'll be having the swing and arm out. We'll be doing all the welding around the back, making some bracketry up for the rear sets. We will also should have the seat base back from Les at Saddlecraft, which we'll be chopping down and doing a bit of fiberglassing on the back end. And again, that's something we would like a bit of feedback on the shape of the rear seat. See what you think of that. We'll be deciding colour fairly soon as well because we're going to be doing a bit of painting. And that's about it for now. So tune in next time and we'll have some more things for you to look at. Bye for now.